want to start off with your message, and then we'll get to any questions.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. I know this has been the top of news not only in Guam, but most of the international media in regards to, again, the direction of what do you say, the rhetoric by the North Korean government, and the actions of also of the United States and its allies. The good news here is that we have a THAAD, again, land-based defense system that is on its way to Guam, and this will complement the defensive umbrella that is already protecting American interests, and whether it's in South Korea or Japan, as well as, for me, most importantly, the territory of Guam and Commonwealth of the Northern Marianas. So we're heartened to see this development, but we all know, anyone who's been keeping track of the slow progress of the realignment of military forces here in the Western Pacific, in particular to the treaty that was signed between the United States and Japan, that a land-based missile defense system has always been part of the equation. Unfortunately, the obstacles, particularly from those from SASC, the Senate Armed Services Committee, and the actions of the Senate, and focused on, again, in particular Senator John McCain most recently, have been detrimental to the forward movement of this realignment. So I have sent a letter today to Senator Carl Levin, who chairs the Senate Armed Services Committee, again expressing my disappointment on the actions that have occurred from the Senate Armed Services Committee. Also, most recently, what the changes were made in the Senate bill that took out spending provisions for Guam. And this is, again, part of a continuation by certain members of the Senate, headlined by Senator McCain, that have delayed the progress for this realignment. And now we are in a situation where, as a result of having to react to a crisis, there is now a THAAD missile defense system being moved to this territory. Maybe if there were delays had not occurred as a result of the efforts of Senator McCain and some others, we would have had the necessary progress here in Guam to have certain systems available. So again, what this letter is all about, it's about our thankfulness to the Obama administration and to the House Armed Services Committee on their efforts for the realignment of forces in Guam and the necessary investments, not only offensively but defensively, but also to show my disappointment and again to reiterate again the stance that we've taken since day one, since I've become governor, that the Senate Armed Services Committee move proactively in moving forward with the realignment. Of course, now we are in a catch-up situation. So here's a copy of the letter that has just been sent, and I'm looking towards any questions or comments that you would have for me. So I know you're going to have to read the letter, but go ahead. If you have any questions beforehand, then after you can read the letter, and then if you have any questions afterwards.
Focusing on the announcement about the deployment of the THAADs to the THAAD system to Guam, have you been briefed on that by the military?
I've been briefed by representatives of the Defense Department and Homeland Security. We have had, and if you can recall in earlier interviews, there are assurances that have been made by the Defense Department in regards to, again, an umbrella of defense systems that are available to the United States and its allies that would protect Guam, starting from the Korean Peninsula all the way to the Western Pacific. But that being said, we've all known that we have not had a land-based system that has always been a part of the planning for this strategic repivot to the Western Pacific, Asia-Pacific region, and that land-based system was a part of the total realignment that included the Marine buildup. So we're happy to see that these further measures have been taken, and but we do believe that that now moving forward, as the system is put in place, that there could be rapid progress on the other investments that need to be made for this realignment into Guam.
Is it your sense that this deployment of the THAADs was prompted by any kind of a change in the situation at all, the overall North Korean situation?
Well, again, this, what is the statement? These bellicose statements that are made by the North Korean leader are very similar to the statements his father made and his grandfather made. But, you know, things have changed. This is a new fella. There's not much experience as to what is going through the mind of a 28-year-old authoritarian dictator. So I'm sure from the standpoint of a strategist in the United States and its allies, as well as the people of Guam, there's a concern on what this guy is thinking, why he's doing it. At the same time, though they may have limited capabilities in potentially reaching a place like Guam, we have seen over the years there has been this increase in capabilities, both in nuclear weaponry, as well as the building of more advanced delivery systems in terms of a missile weapon. So, you know, obviously there may be concern, there may not be at this point some major concerns about their technology in terms of the ability to deliver a warhead to Guam or to Hawaii or to North America, but they have been making progress. And that doesn't mean that next year or 3 years, 4 years from now or 5 years from now that they will not have this ability. So though I am heartened to see these improvements in the defense posture, I am concerned not only as a governor but as a man who has a wife and children and grandchildren here, that the type of rhetoric that's coming out of North Korea seems to be escalating, and you know it may have a potential impact to again this region, and most in particularly to Guam.
One more question
Sure.
about the THAADs.
Oh.
But just in your briefing, were you able to get a sense of what the timeline is when the THAADs will be active on Guam?
Again, I must remind folks, I'm going to be very general in my statements, but there's an understanding that you know there are many different types of defense weaponry that's available, and they are positioned in certain parts of Korea, of Japan and Okinawa, and the Western Pacific, all having the ability to defend against missile attacks in places such as Guam. This land-based system will be one that again adds that other layer. As to when it will be, the arrival date on that, I'm sure that will come out by the proper authorities. But that being said, that does not mean that we are not under a defensive umbrella at this point for Guam, which we are.
Chair, do you have any questions?
Yeah, Governor, do you happen, I mean, I don't know if you can tell me this, but do you happen to know where they're going to situate this defense system at, in the north or south?
Again, these are questions that probably would be best suited to be answered by members of the Defense Department. And I'm sure that they will be revealing this information once it becomes, they feel it appropriate.
Okay, and I mean...
But I think it's important for all of you in the media, you know, there is a concern. We all understand, you know, this is ramping up. But again, with that concern, there are these defense systems that are already currently in place. And you know, that is heartening to know. It is our hope, and I'm sure for every citizen of Guam, anyone who calls Guam home, and the Northern Marianas, is that the heat will start to cool off, and that the North Korean leader will think rationally about the statements that he is making, the actions he is doing, that it is to the best interest of his people that this rhetoric and his actions calm down.
Just coming now, how does that make you feel?
Obviously, you have a very advanced land-based system that gives us some comfort because we are not within the original word coming out about the North American Missile Defense System. We do not fall under their protective blanket.
Yeah.
And so with that in mind, we knew that we did not have, and we've all known that we do not have a land-based system. That has been a part of the strategic plan of the Defense Department with this realignment. Remember, it was just not Marines. It's a larger picture. So this is something that has been thought out and by strategic defense planners for years. And there has been a plan of action. It had been moving forward. And again, we have been getting the support, or at least this realignment had been getting support from the House, from both the Bush administration as well as the Obama administration. And it would always seem to hit a brick wall at the Senate. And so again, because of now the need to react to an emergent situation, we are hopeful that this will show validation of the importance of keeping to the strategic plan. And we are hopeful that this would help to further convince the Senate Armed Services Committee that they must change the course in which they've been moving in regards to hold-ups to the realignment. There are not only 12,000 troops and their families stationed in Guam and the Marianas, there are over 200,000 American citizens that live in Guam and the Northern Marianas. And I think that's an important note to make mention to Senator McCain as he ponders what the next decision of the Senate would be.
And there's also North Korea. It's not only just missiles. They're also, I think, there's some concerns that they're also attacking, the internet infrastructure and other things like that. Is that also a concern for you, Governor? Or
I'm sure that's a concern for everyone in whether it's in South Korea, where something just recently happened, or everyone in Middle America as well, because obviously a North Korean missile can't hit Arizona or Washington, D.C.,
yeah.
but it sure seems that the North Koreans have the capability and the ability to also launch attacks through cyberspace.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that's a concern for everyone. Again, I'm not in the defense establishment. I do know that there are actions being taken to try to insulate both Guam,